Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is great to see so many familiar faces here today and to welcome new friends. I want to begin by thanking Liam, Mayor of City, for sharing that incredible success story. I spend my time discussing the adaptability and resiliency and ingenuity of the people of Belfast and the wider region, but nothing beats hearing it directly from companies like City themselves. Companies that have invested in Northern Ireland have grown their centres of excellence and to provide critical service to companies globally. I know you saw a little video earlier on today, but we're going to run it again just to give you a real taste of how Belfast has changed since the signing of the Good Friday Agreement and touch on a little bit of the ambitions for the future. So let's roll that tape again.
Belfast has come a long way over the past 1,300 years. We've grown from a cluster of cabins at the mouth of the River Lagan to a thriving, innovative, globally connected city. It's a remarkable journey, but it hasn't always been easy, and we've taken some giant steps along the way. With achievements that far outshine our size, harnessing water and steam to build the world's largest linen industry, moving muscles and minds to create some of the mightiest ships and shipyards ever seen, leading the way in aircraft, engineering, even cars. Yes, we've had our troubles, but we've faced them, and with a little help from our friends, we've worked through them together. You see, Belfast is an innovative place. Our people are bright and resilient, as is our city. It's in our nature to move forward, to create and seize new opportunities. We've been given help and we've used it wisely, and we're continuing to invest in our future through our Innovation District, where we're nurturing 30,000 creative minds thanks to our 2 world-class universities and Belfast Metropolitan College. We've opened our hearts and our doors to new opportunities, and we're building on them. We've welcomed new friends from America, Europe and around the world, and they're thriving here, alongside our homegrown companies in fintech, cyber and regtech. But right now, we're taking another giant step forward with a $1.2 billion Belfast Region City Deal investment. We're using it to build our innovation capabilities in sectors like fintech and medtech, to prime us to lead the world once more. This is no idle boast. It's a fact. We've done it before and we're doing it again. This time we invite you to be part of it. But there's something else. You'll like it here. A lot. Belfast's a great place to be, with an edgy cultural vibe and a seriously good lifestyle. So welcome to Belfast. It's where innovation thrives.
There you go. So today we're going to update you on, as they've seen here, the new Belfast, where innovation thrives, particularly in tech and specifically today in fintech. We've discussed how the digital economy is driving the city's ambitions for inclusive economic growth, and we'll launch Innovation City Belfast to a US audience and demonstrate how this unique partnership of key city institutions is driving a new agenda and building a Belfast history of creativity and innovation to establish the city as a globally significant destination for innovation. I'd like to begin by welcoming today's panel. Directly here to my left, we have John Walsh, Chief Executive of Belfast City Council. Yes, big round of applause for John. We have Claire Guinness, who is the Belfast Innovation District Director. And of course, Darragh McCarthy, CEO and founder of Fintru. So John, as you're next to me, I'm going to start with you first. We have more than 1,100 international companies in Northern Ireland, many of which are located in Belfast. We've heard from Lee about city success over the last 20 years, but what does the city have to offer new international investors? What makes Belfast unique and attractive to those considering establishing a new location, specifically perhaps in Ireland and the UK?
Yeah, well, I'm a proud Belfast boy. I was the city's lawyer for 31 years and have been appointed into this role in the last 4 months. You know, the city for me is a really magical place, but a city that I've witnessed that is really, you know, firmly planted in transition. and for me is ready to move on in terms of where it is now, to grow and expand. A city with a new confidence, a confidence that may not have been there before. So when we come here today, and we've reached out to investors and potential other interests in this great city, what we're saying to you is we have something in our city that we are very proud of, that is a great product, and that we can grow and scale and help your businesses. So what we have in terms of Belfast is we have the same great people, 340,000 people in the city, 1 million in the wider Belfast metropolitan area. We have people who are ambitious, who are anxious for success, like Lee Mayers has just referred to in terms of city success. You take our people, you skill them, you give them the opportunity, they will repay you, you will get a return. Proven potential. Claire's going to talk about ICB, Innovation City Belfast. Lee has rounded off a whole set of stats that I was going to actually rely on in terms of showing you where we are in the world of fintech and all of that goes with it, all that technical digital. Our people have, acquired great skills. We are now globally recognized for what it is that we do. We are the number one destination for cybersecurity. We're working on other things such as RegTech and propositions around all of that. So what I found in terms of meeting businesses here this week is that we actually do have something that we can offer to you that can help your business grow and scale as well. And we want you to come back. It's all very fine and well listening to what I hear and what I say on this stage, but you have to come to our place to get under the skin of our city to actually really understand the proposition that it can make for you. It is a brilliant, brilliant city. The other thing I would say in terms of all this, when I stood on this platform and I went for this particular role, to all the political parties, I am the first unanimously appointed chief executive across the political spectrum in Belfast for many years. And I did it on the basis that I sold a ticket which was about inclusive economic growth and quality placemaking. And those two things are not mutually exclusive. They go hand in hand. A city that hasn't seen major city centre investment in terms of living because of its unfortunate past now has an opportunity to become a city on a scale with most of those modern European cities that you know and love and go and visit. So for me, Belfast proposition is a very, very rounded one. We have the people, we have the proven potential, and we are working on the place.
Brilliant. And speaking of the place and outstanding success, Dara, you founded Fintrue in 2013, and you now employ more than 1,000 people in 6 sites and have received a host of awards, too many to mention today. Can you share Fintrue's story, the crucial role that Belfast has played in facilitating that success, and the critical services that Fintrue is developing in Belfast for the world's largest investment banks?
Sure. So thank you very much, Andrea. So Dara McCarthy, so not from Northern Ireland. For those of you from Northern Ireland will recognise I'm from the completely other side of the country, from Cork. And I actually worked for Morgan Stanley, worked actually in New York for 2.5 years, so New York is very close to my heart. I love New York. But I actually left Morgan Stanley with the idea of creating jobs, socially inclusive jobs on the island of Ireland, which really meant the People's Republic of Cork, if you're as narrow-minded as a Cork person is. But somehow the joke is I turned the wrong way when I landed at Dublin Airport and went to the north. And to be honest, someone like me growing up wouldn't have gone to the north. The way I speak, people would have assumed I was there for nefarious reasons. But I went there, and to be honest, I just thought it was fantastic. And I was going to hire people, salaries were attractive. I was going to rent offices, rents were attractive. And also there was, University of Northern Ireland and the Department of Employment and Learning, others, they took a punt on a guy from Cork who was going to create 80 jobs in 3 years. We ultimately created 80 jobs in 21 months, then we created 160 jobs in 12 months. And then in June 2018, which is still probably, I guess, my proudest moment, we made a jobs announcement to create 605 jobs across Belfast and Derry, Londonderry, over 5 years. And I'm glad that we've done that. And that was at the time, I'm a bit of a nerd, so I Googled this, the largest jobs announcement for a company of our size in economic history of the island of Ireland. And we've smashed it, and we've done that because of Northern Ireland and Belfast particularly, which is our HQ. We work with 16 of the largest banks globally, so we're probably a slightly different company. We're an Indigenous Northern Ireland company, so we know we're not looking for your money. What we're looking for is we're looking for your support, because we want to rule the world, but we want to do it from Northern Ireland and from our Belfast HQ. So we want to sell to the world. We've actually just opened an office in New York during the pandemic in November 2020. My colleagues actually have been looking at a number of different states. We're going to establish a delivery center in the United States in the next 3 to 6 months. So we're going to invest back into the United States, but we're doing it from a Northern Ireland perspective, which I think is something really cool. And we're not with the typical cap out looking for money. We have enough money. We just want your support in really trying to make something great and also give back to your economy if we can in some ways, but do it from Northern Ireland. I think that's probably a narrative you wouldn't have heard before or appreciate. Lee mentioned, and Lee and I have great rivalry, and I thank Lee for seating many of my management team, and I haven't finished hiring from him yet, so I'll keep on going. But Lee and I have it's really like a competition, and we traffic in similar spaces, and we're trying to work together. And as John mentioned and Claire would mention, there's lots of cross-industry initiatives we're trying to pull together to really, Belfast has achieved great success in cybersecurity. We want Belfast to really be a global centre for reg tech, so helping the largest companies in the world meet regulations. And again, I'm not going to get involved in politics, but a Northern Irish protocol properly executed, meaning that we can access both the EU and the UK, is a wonderful thing for businesses. And actually, let's use the challenges of having a border with the EU. We're the only part of the UK that has a border with the EU. They're actually all great things if they can be deemed sensible and from a business perspective. So listen, Belfast has been fantastic to myself, to my company. I moved there 5 years ago because Fintry had grown so big. I live there with my family. It's a wonderful place. And for those of you who haven't been there yet, please come and visit it, and love to see you.
Darius' story is incredibly successful. I mean, Fintry is an amazing company, but you touch very much there on a point that I want to emphasize, that it's not all one-way traffic. It's not all kind of investment going from the US into Northern Ireland. It's companies like Fintry that are creating employment, supporting investment over here in the US, and there's many companies from the north that are doing that, and I think we should celebrate that two-way sort of trade and investment that is going on every day on both sides of the Atlantic. Claire, we've heard today a lot about Belfast's ambition to enhance its position as a globally significant destination for innovation. As we look to the future, can you explain more about Innovation City Belfast, the partnership between government, industry and academia, and how the development of the Innovation District will make Belfast's ambitions a true reality?
Yeah, that's a pretty tall order, but I'll try my best. This is a hugely exciting time for Belfast. The video showed the $1.2 billion Belfast Region City deal. And I guess about $500 million of that is going into all things digital, research centres, digital enablement for the city, challenge funds for SMEs and others to engage in digital and innovative activity. And I suppose that's all happening already. But what hasn't happened and what is new is that we really want to double down on that big investment. We've got 400 acres of the city now earmarked as the Innovation District. That Innovation District has 30,000 students in it, just in that part of the city. It has world-class research centres, with both Queen's University and Ulster University having world-class research centres there. There's leisure, there's a waterfront, there's a museum. It's 10 minutes walk to the city centre. And I guess that for me is really exciting new development in Belfast, that we're going to really try and curate this excellent, vibrant part of the city, which is going to be very supportive to the SMEs and the startups. It's going to feature academia, world-class academia, and also industry, and with the wrapper of a very supportive Belfast City Council and local government through Invest NI to really make sure that we create a really vibrant, happening innovation district. And I suppose for me, the bit about Innovation City Belfast, it's a collaboration of 7 of the city's institutions, the 2 universities, Queen's University, University of Ulster, and Belfast Metropolitan College. So we're really investing in our skills and our pipeline, and those 3 tertiary education providers have come together with Belfast City Council, with Belfast Harbour, who are a major landowner in the city, Catalyst, which is our incubator and startup organisation, and also invest in as an advisory partner. So very much collaborative leadership. And I just see massive opportunity. And I guess I was talking there to one of the guys earlier, and I was saying, you know, with $1.2 billion going in to the Belfast Region City deals, there is something about following the money here. That's committed, that's happening, that's going to massively improve our capability and connectivity and all across all sides. And I kind of think for me, this is a real good opportunity now for people to come and start a research collaboration with one of our universities, or support us in venture capital funding, or you know, a myriad of ways. And I'd certainly be delighted to talk to anybody afterwards about how you might come and help and be part of this next stage of development, really, for Belfast.
I mean, it's truly phenomenal to see Belfast flourishing. I mean, I go back and forth many, many times, and every time I go back, I see something different, new, and exciting. And I want to give a shout out to my table today, because sitting at my table, I actually have real-life US investors, people who have put their money where their mouth and who've gone and invested in Northern Ireland. So Gavin Core, Garvin McKee, Stuart McGuigan, and John O'Donoghue, who was here, have all brought US headquarter companies to Northern Ireland, all of which are flourishing in Belfast. So big shout out to them.
I think it's always worth remembering that 75% of the companies who come and invest in our city actually reinvest.
Yeah. So they do way more than they ever anticipated doing when they first talked to Invest in I, and it's great to see that success continue. And not to touch on the negative, but you know, we've been back in the news again. It is great to see Belfast flourishing, but we've been back in the news following our recent elections, and also, of course, around the protocol. I suppose, you know, how can we reassure the audience here today that some of those issues are not going to derail the potential that we have, or you know, the opportunities for our ambitions for the future? Claire, maybe you want to tackle that a little bit, John, perhaps as well?
I'm going to point to the leadership of the city and indeed in industry. So what's fantastic, and we couldn't have done it 10 years ago, you know, to sit here with an international investor like Citi, and then our fantastic, now international Indigenous company like Finchu, that just points to the absolute sort of maturity now of what we're doing in Belfast. We've come a long way. We've developed, as I say, a collaborative, strong leadership team for the city. So it's really disappointing, I guess, that you know what, we don't have the government just at the moment. But I'm going to tell you, somebody like me doesn't really care, because that $1.2 billion that I talked about is already committed. So we're already unlocking that money, and we have probably more tools in our armoury now than we've ever had. So we just need to continue to press on. We need the leaders of the city, as some of them are here today, to stand up and forge ahead with their plans. And hopefully, in time, that will fix itself. I'm sure it'll fix itself soon.
Yeah.
Moment in time stuff for me. I mean, really, you know, I mean, the Good Friday Agreement celebrates a very significant birthday not too far away. And you know what? I haven't seen anything that's derailed Belfast progress over that time. And I can assure you, as a city leader, working with our elected members, I will ensure that it doesn't.
Finally, John, on that point, you're sitting in front of a very influential group of business and civic leaders and investors, and I think in true New York style, what is your ask of these people? You know, what would you like them to do? How can they support the ambitions that Belfast has?
For me, it's really, you know, I know that this room has many, many friends. I know the Irish diaspora here. I know the power and the love and the feeling for the place. You know, and for me, I mean, I've grown up, I was born in Belfast. My mum was an economic migrant from County Leitrim who came there, became a nurse. My dad was a car mechanic. They worked very hard to give me an education, you know, and, you know, moving through, I progressed and I finally got this particular job, which I have to say, you know, a few years ago, I probably wouldn't have thought that I would have held. So I have a really deep love for the place and the ambition that's within the place. And really, in terms of all of that ambition and that feeling for the city, what I would say to all of you as people, you know, who obviously have a love for the place as well, is come and see it right now. Come and see what's happening. Come and feel the innovation. Come and feel the ambition. Come and feel the changes, and you will, you know, take something back from that. I can promise you that the people, if you invest in the city, will give you back more than you put in.
And I can't say it any better than that. So I'd like to thank today's panel. And as I say, if you have the opportunity, come and speak to the folks up here about how you can help them realize their ambition and how they can help support your success. Thank you.
Thank you.